If you ever use Duolingo, there is a good chance you were working for them. The little green owl is not just reminding you to do your Spanish lesson, it's part of a system designed to keep you coming back. Duolingo made learning feel like a game, but if I told you the game was playing you. Today, the app has over 37 million daily users. It's been called the future of education. Its stock price has doubled. It feels fun. It looks harmless. But is it really the best way to learn a language? And how did a free app turn into a global tech giant without charging most of its users a single dollar? Let me tell you the secrets of Duolingo.
Luis von Ahn is a genius.
The man behind Duolingo is Luis von Ahn. And honestly, you can't separate him from the company. They are one and the same. Luis was born in Guatemala in 1978, and let's just say he's brilliant. While studying at the prestigious Duke University in the early 2000s, he came up with a system to tell humans apart from bots while visiting websites. You know those weird, stiggly letters you have to type out sometimes? That's called CAPTCHA, and Luis invented it.
CAPTCHA, which stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to tell computers and humans apart.
But solving a problem wasn't enough for him. He created a service within this service, reCAPTCHA. They would show you an image of old, hard-to-read text from a book. If you could read it and type it out, you proved you were a human. At the same time, he helped digitalize that book. Instead of paying people to transcribe millions of pages, web users did it for free. Chances are you've already worked for Luis. Over time, the tech evolved. No more distorted letters. Now it's about identifying objects in photo. It started with house numbers and street signs, helping make Google Street View more accurate. Today it's buses, bikes, and bridges. It even helps train AI used in self-driving cars like Waymo autonomous vehicles. And if I'm mentioning Google, it's because Louis' little side project, the one worth a few $1 million, was eventually bought by Google for a few $1 million. But at the time of the deal, Luis already had a new big idea in mind. Luis wanted to translate the entire internet.
Duolingo, people learn a new language for free while simultaneously translating the.
He revealed the idea of Duolingo during a talk at Carnegie Mellon University in 2011, and the thinking was simple. If you get internet users to contribute without making them feel like they are working, you can achieve incredible things.
The thing is, during those 10 seconds, while you're typing a CAPTCHA, your brain is doing something amazing. Your brain is doing something that computers cannot yet do.
He'd already proven this with the reCAPTCHA. Now he wanted to apply the same logic to language learning. His plan helped people learn a new language for free while using their input to translate real websites. Duolingo was the code name, and once again, it was a service inside a service. Here's how it worked. You would see a sentence from a real website and choose the best translation from a few options. By doing that, users were not just learning, they were also helping Duolingo build a database of translated content, and people loved it. Within months, Luis had hundreds of thousands of users. That meant daily feedback, fast improvement, and more accurate translations. Together with his co-founder, Severin Hacker, yes, this is his real name, they added mini games tied to vocabulary, so people could remember words more easily. As the app grew, they realized they weren't just translating websites anymore. They had a chance to change the entire language learning industry. Back then, most tools were outdated, expensive, or just boring. Online resources were rare and nothing felt fun. This was in 2011. Siri had just been launched, people were just playing on Angry Birds and Fu Ninja, and Luis, he had another reason for building Duolingo. When he was in Guatemala, he had to take TOEFL test. Between the exam fees and the flight to another country to take it, it cost him $1,200. That experience stuck with him, and it probably helped spark the idea to build a platform that would disturb everything by making learning free, fun, and accessible. From the very beginning, Duolingo stood out by making education feel like entertainment. It wasn't just free, it was simple, playful, and genuinely enjoyable. Right on their website, they say it clear: we're here to make language learning easy and accessible for everyone. Before Duolingo, learning a new language meant books, instructors, and a lot of money. Then came the Green app, removing all these barriers. All you need was a screen, connection, and few minutes a day. But they didn't copy the old school methods. They built something new, something that fit the smartphone area. 2013 was a record year for smartphone sales. Over 1 billion devices sold. Mobile games were exploding in popularity. That was the moment, the opportunity to gamify education. No more brownies in the kitchen. Luis and his team powered everything from video games, sound design, visuals, level progressions, limited lives, daily rewards. You would move through lessons like staging an adventure game. Finish a lesson, you get XP. Hit your goal, you unlock a chest. They even added leaderboards so you could battle with your friends and climb up the league. And the sound effects, now they are recognizable as jingles from big global brands. Animations, progress bars, levels, everything designed to keep you coming back. In one of his talks, Luis admitted the goal, make learning as addictive as social media. And looking at numbers, he figured out how. Now, how does Duolingo keep people hooked? It's not by accident. Every detail is calculated. Every bit of data, every user interaction analyzed to keep you coming back. Not once, not twice, but every single day. It starts from the moment you open the app. Duolingo asks you to set your own learning goals. That way, it feels personal and you're in control. Then comes the secret weapon, the streak. Every day you complete a lesson, you earn a flame on your calendar. Miss a day, the streak breaks. Sound familiar? Yeah, Snapchat made it popular first, and it turns out that little flame is incredibly powerful. Once you've got a few days in a row, you don't want to break it. You will keep going just to keep the streak alive.
Tweets. The reason people come back every day is because if they don't come back, that number resets to 0 and people don't want to lose their streak.
It's no longer just about learning, it's about not losing. And suddenly, you're practicing Spanish or French every single day because Duo, that passive-aggressive little owl, is watching you. Duolingo doesn't stop at streaks. It taps into something even deeper, competition. Inside the app, everything earns you XP, and XP means bragging right. At some point, it's not even about how well you speak. It's about having more XP than your friends or your coworkers or that random person ahead of you in the leaderboard. Every user profile is public. You can collect badges, claim leagues from bronze to diamond, and show off your progress like it's a video game. It's smart and it's addicting. The animations are smooth, colorful, and rewarding. It hits your brain like a dopamine shot after a Candy Crush one. This design is why Duolingo has over 37 million daily active users. 37 million people learning 43 languages plus math and music. And it's not just the users who feel the impact. A 2019 MIT study showed that while most online learning platforms only keep about 4% of their users, Duolingo keeps over 50%. The app doesn't just work, people like using it, and that's a huge part of why they stick with it.
So what I like about this model is that it is a small form of wealth redistribution because we're basically getting the rich people to pay for the education of everyone. So I like that.
For all its success, there is one part of Duolingo that still doesn't quite click, the business model. You would think an app that's addictive with millions of users and total dominance in its space would be printing money. That's not exactly the case. From the start, Luis, Duolingo's CEO, wasn't driven by profit. He cared about access, not money. In fact, early on, the team almost launched Duolingo as a non-profit, and that mindset still shows. Duolingo runs a freemium model. The app is free, the lessons are free, but you will see ads.
Duolingo uses a freemium model to support itself. What that means is that you can learn as much as you want without ever having to pay.
Unless you pay for Super Duolingo, the premium version that costs just under $100 a year. Here's the catch. The free version works so well that most users never upgrade. Even so, Duolingo controls 60% of the online language learning market. Its closest competitor, Babbel, just 5%. And despite being 12 times bigger in user base, Duolingo's revenue is only about 3 times higher than Babbel's. It's the most recognized and effective brand in the space, but business-wise, it's still not as profitable as you might think. Duolingo is big, but Duo, the green owl, might be even bigger. The app would be nothing without its mascot. Duo isn't just there to remind you to practice, he hands you, push you notifications, threaten you with strikes. And somehow, that turned into a meme, a global one. In 2024, that's a goal. Duo has become exactly what every brand dreams of, a viral character people recognize instantly, even if they don't use the app. On TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Duo's everywhere. Mysterious, a little intense, kind of hilarious. Originally, they all symbolized knowledge. And why it's green? Because Luis' co-founder hates the color green, so Luis picked it up just to mess with him. Now Duo is part of the brand, like Colonel Sanders to KFC. And here's the genius. Most Duolingo's marketing is done without big budgets. They don't spend millions of ads. They post shorts, punchy videos on their own social media, and users create their own Duo memes adding fuel to the fire. That said, they did drop a few $100,000 for a 5-second Super Bowl ad. But it worked, and honestly, that ad should be taught in every marketing class. After all this, there is one question left. Does Duolingo actually help you learn a language? The app looks great, it feels fun, it's insanely addictive, but does it work? Every year, Duolingo released studies showing their method is effective. In 2021, one report claimed reaching B1 level in English on the app was the same as 5 semesters in university. Impressive, right? But most of these studies are done internally by Duolingo's own team. So it raises questions. Is this real researchers or just good marketing? Luckily, independent researchers have looked into it. One review from Ohio University examined all studies on Duolingo from 2012 to 2020. The conclusion was clear. Duolingo delivers very high user satisfaction. Why? Gamification. People enjoy using it, and that enjoyment creates a feeling of progress, and even if the learning isn't perfect, it's fun, it's engaging, and it works for daily practice. But if your goal is fluency, Duolingo might not be enough on its own. So now I will turn it over to you. Have you ever tried learning a language with Duolingo? Did it work for you? And did you just get stuck keeping this tech alive? Let me know in the comments.